definitely agree with that. So yeah, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. So I do kind of want to talk about your pieces, if you don't mind, like sharing just some garments that you have and just kind of like talking about it, the construction when you made it, just
Yeah.
more.
Absolutely. So I have my rack here. These are more recent pieces or like some favorites because I have a lot of stuff either in my own closet in the other room that like are just mine. I wear them whenever I want, or in the basement where I'm kind of like preserving them. My
Okay.
niece is my favorite girl, and she's promised that she will take care of my garments,
Okay, I love
after
that.
me. And so she'll be gifted them, but she got to grow up first. I'm
Yeah.
like, right? Um, so something that was really fun for me. This is, see if I can get this one. So a little piece of like Delaware Black history. There was a designer, late designer named Joe Bree, and
Ooh.
his widow reached out to me because she saw me in a magazine and was like, "I have all these fabrics for my husband,
Oh my
and I would like
God.
you to come get some of them." And I was like, "Oh, like honored." And her name is Thera Brumskill, but she gifted me a few of fabrics, and this was one of them. And it's just so pretty. It's so vivid.
I love it.
And there's a whole set to it. So there's the top, and then there's like a bikini.
Oh my God, that is so cute.
And a little bra as well. And I just had so much fun making this. And I use a lot of couture sewing techniques.
Okay.
And stripes can be difficult because my teacher, once again, always taught me to match. So like when things are going across, like be mindful that your stripes are aligning. So I was very, very like particular about everything aligning. And this is one of my favorites.
That is so cute. And it kind of also like challenges a beach cover up of what we think about as a beach cover up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's very kind of almost day to night.
Right.
You kind of wear it at the beach, but then I can like throw on a skirt and go to dinner.
And that's how I like to create as well. Like I like to have pieces where I'm like, okay, I can mix and match. Like this is not just a one time, one occasion thing. Like I want to be able to get the most out of what I'm making and wearing, and with my wardrobe. Because once again, I don't buy a lot of clothes. I don't really have that luxury. And I will say I will spend money on like a pair of shoes or a bag before clothes because I can't mix shoes. So yeah, that's a personal favorite, and just where the fabric came from, and the fact that she allowed me to honor her late husband by taking these donations
That's
and
amazing.
making something out of it. So that was one. I had this bag that was shaped like a teddy bear that was also from the fabrics that came from her, but a friend of mine purchased that, so I don't have that anymore.
Oh my God.
This is obviously one of my favorite pieces of all time. This was at Winterthur.
Yeah, I saw that one. So beautiful.
It has a matching hat with it as well. So all of these were from some project that I've done in the past. So we see the one piece that I just showed you here, some Japanese textiles, silk, wool, denim. This one, and my bag's not in here, but this fabric came from someone else who donated to me, and she had been collecting this fabric from the 60s, and it was completely untouched. And then I did my research, and that fabric was from a mill here in Delaware. And I was just like, that's too crazy. I didn't even know that that mill operated at some point, but it's now Calico in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. And this really, feel like Anlo came through with the guidance because it was a lot of work to be able to, one, cut and position everything so meticulously, and then to have to structure it. So I looked at a lot of her garments. They were able to let me into the lab where they were preserving her garments. And I took some tips on how to like structure the inside of the garment. And it's hard to see, but there's like a ribbon at the waistline to like stabilize the waist. There's boning inside. And I use a very like lightweight lining because I didn't want it to be too heavy. But this was something I'm just like super proud of, because I think I had a little bit of, what is it called, imposter syndrome. And I was like, I don't know if I'm worthy of this, but this was like, no, girl. Like,
yeah, that's beautiful. And the storytelling of the history of Delaware alone is kind of insane. And I'm so happy that you're like embarking your own archiving journey, because that's like a whole separate conversation as far as like us valuing our own work and also kind of carving out and redefining like you know, wealth, generational wealth, you know, and passing down things that mean a lot in our culture to our children, you know, niece, nephew, whatever, and it kind of staying in the family. So, you know, that's super beautiful. I love that.
Thank you. I love corsets, so I'm always like playing around with my corset work. And I don't know, I think the first one I ever made was in like 2019, and it's like, I thought it was good at the time, but now I'm like, that was awful. I just didn't know what I was doing. But this is just completely cotton and then linen on the inside, and I really got into historical lacing. And this is what I think upgraded a lot of my corsets, because I didn't know what that looked like, and I had to research that and how people were getting in and out of these things and the method of actually just being able to put it in. And I do all of my like groomets and everything by hand. So this was a set, and I love sets, once again, mixing and matching. So it was like some cute little booty shorts with it.
Yeah, that was so cute.
So I love
like lingerie kind of too.
Yeah, so I love having fun. This is like something I just did for myself. I had some fabric. I like the color. So yeah, that's what that is. I'm trying to see what else do I have over here. Oh, and then I collect patterns. So I will show one that is not an original design of mine, but this is a Issei Miyake vintage Vogue pattern.
Oh wow.
And he's probably one of my favorite Japanese designers. Super innovative. I think him being like from Japan, but then studying in Paris and being all over the world really shows up in like his tailoring and designs. So this is raw silk. And then it has these 1940s Bakelite buttons. So these are all vintage buttons. And they're, instead of the pleats being on the inside of the garment, they're on the outside of the garment and topped with zigzags. And then there's vintage fabric inside of the pocket. But it's like an oversized kind of look. I wore this with just like, I think, a bra under it, and had my friend take pictures of me at the like local corner store, because I like to shoot in my environment. Like, I'm very personal with my work. But this is a favorite of mine, to be able to just kind of like get into the brain of another designer.
Yeah, that's super details. Those pockets are like insane.
Right? And this is hard. So it also challenges me, because I'm doing things that are a little maybe outside of my own realm, and then the pleated trousers that go with it.
That is so cute. I don't think, and that's interesting you have that piece, because everybody knows the Peace Please collection, you know, and that's kind of like the cult following of his brand is the pleats, but this kind of shows the craftsmanship of his.
And it's so funny to me, because it's almost like Telfar with the Telfar bags, where it's like everybody knows the Telfar bags, but do y'all know the clothes? Because the clothes really go hard.
Exactly. That's so cool. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Like I love that, especially like the fabric that was donated from you. Was that a Black designer?
Yeah. So it was a fabric collection of, his name was Joe Bree, Black designer here in Wilmington, Delaware.
Okay.
And his late wife, his widow, Thera called me after seeing me in a magazine and was like, I heard you're in Delaware. Like, I have all these fabrics my husband left behind. And she welcomed me into her home. She had all these beautiful family photos. Oh my gosh, even back to like some of her ancestors that were enslaved. She had a photo of them. I was like,
wow,
blown away. And in the basement was where his studio was. And it was just like machines and buttons and fabric everywhere. And she was like, have at it, like do
oh
what
my
you want.
God.
Fine. And I was so grateful just for someone to welcome me into their home that way, to trust me with those materials. Honestly, just sometimes surprised every day by how generous people are. Not the first time somebody's like donated or gifted me something like that, but on that level where the history was so rich, where this is another Black designer, his old thing. She had like all of his little mood boards and posters, and she was showing me photos. She was like, "This is me back in the day," and it was just the cutest experience I ever had.
Yeah, wow. So it sounds like she has kind of like her own little museum of like her family's history and like her husband's fashion history, which is, you know, another form of archiving. And that's so important to hear that people are still doing that. So thank you so much for sharing. I'm so grateful for your time, your knowledge, like everything. This has been amazing. And, you know, I love what you're doing within fashion history because, you know, I learned about you just kind of on the surface level of a designer. I had no clue that you're making garments from Black designers from way back when and repurposing it within sustainability. That's revolution. Like I haven't heard that one yet. I'm not gonna lie to you. So that right there just kind of like blew me as far as like a whole nother side of sustainability that people probably are not even tapping into is repurposing past designers' work, and that's crazy. So
thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And this has like been so uplifting to speak to someone who's interested in the same type of things that I am. Because once again, like we both experience, you don't really have that every day. So this has been so beautiful. The work you're doing is so incredible. Like just when you told me what you did, I was like, oh yeah, like I gotta have this conversation.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, like when I first started this journey, I actually did my own creative project with my personal archive of Black designers. I did the production, casted the models, hired the team, creative direction, everything to kind of like introduce my brand. And I'm not gonna lie, I ran into some rough patches, and I'm kind of like getting back into my passion and stuff like that. But one of the biggest things that I wanted to do, or I would say one of the biggest things that I felt like was missing was conversation. Like, you know, I can't keep trying to do everything myself, and I'm a Virgo, so very Beyonce, try to do everything ourselves, don't want nobody to touch our projects. Like that's the type of creative I am, which is cool sometimes, but like this missing piece of like connecting with people, it's really, really, really like rebirth my passion. Is really like really things are starting to make sense again. Things are starting to come together now, hearing other people's story, what they're doing. Like I'm just so grateful. So thank you again.
Yes, thank you. This has been such a pleasure.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and